realtor will pay all those before closing. Document stamp on the deed, real estate commission, legal fees, and then we would also say survey, termite inspection on top of that, right? After closing, make sure you keep the following for tax purposes: copy of all closing documents, all home improvement receipts on the home you sold also. The closing appointment is usually with the escrow, but it can also be with the lender. Sometimes the lender will have all those documents to sign. The good lenders in escrow will actually go to their house if they want. But typically they'll come to the escrow office and they sit down and you tell them, I'll be there with you if you have any questions, but pretty much they're going to just sign all the papers transferring the property over from you to them.
And you usually go to those appointments?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to, yeah.
Just to make sure there's no...
Yeah, they usually don't have any questions, so it's usually, fairly quick, half an hour or so. You would not bring the keys, the garage door to those you would have as the realtor, right? And then you work with the buyer's agent to get those to the other side. They wouldn't bring those there. They would bring their ID though. And usually escrow will help you, but they'll be in contact with them, right? So they say, okay, we're gonna close, we got a meeting, tomorrow at 3. Don't forget to bring this, and this.
Yeah, they tell them everything they need to bring and what they can expect.
3 factors.
Here they are.
Here they are.
Important to point out the factors that make a difference between getting your home sold and having it sit on the market with little attention from buyers. Location and condition, marketing. So once again, we're kind of repeating ourselves. So if this sheet looks better, then replace it for in the lineup. 3 factors to getting your home sold: condition, marketing, and price.
Location and time.
Location and time is now added to that. I kind of like this. It's nice visual, simple visual thing.
Mm-hmm.
So. Condition once again goes into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buyers attracted, and you've already talked to them about this, so this is a good one to read and then kind of know as a script, right? And then you'll talk to them earlier on about that. 49, great condition sales, and these are the things you want to do, right? Keep the grass freshly cut, that's easy. Weed it a little bit, easy. Remove yard clutter, easy. Apply fresh paint, maybe easy. Paint the front door at least, right? New welcome mat. Clean the windows, wash and paint, and then do little odds and ends that are broken, right?
Yeah.
Door handle's broken, maybe change the door handle, stuff like that. Little things that are cheap and easy to do, get it touched up.
And it might be worth printing something like this and leaving it with them.
Sure,
I think.
definitely, especially if you have a house that needs work.
Needs some work, yeah.
You're like, oh, take a look at this. I'm gonna leave this with you, right? Because this is like a checklist for them, right?
Yeah.
We'll write down this list.
Yeah.
Interior, of course, shampoo, rugs, and all that kind of stuff, right? They can go right to Safeway and rent a rug doctor and go to town. Showings for the buyers, right? I always tell the agents, be at the showing, especially if it's a residence, because people are going to have questions, right? Where's the property line? Is this uncessable or septic? Is it, whatever, right? If it's like a Keone Villages condo, you've seen one, you've seen them all, it's vacant, put a lockbox on it, right? But for anything else, for residential stuff, you always want to be there because people just will have a lot of questions. If you're there, they can get them answered right then and
I guess I just assumed you'd be there, but I guess what you're saying is a buyer's agent, they could just access it and show their buyer without
right.
it being there.
Right, especially if it's vacant, because then they can show it at a moment's notice, right? You give out the lockbox and they're showing it, so. But if it's a house, it's not servicing them, right?
Right.
Now, if they live in the condo unit,
Yeah,
I would
that's
definitely
different.
go. Yeah, I would go and show it. Make sure to keep an eye on
Sure.
people's stuff.
Right,
But make sure you turn on the lights, right? Opening the window, opening the blinds, right? Let them see what's outside. If the blinds work. Securing the pets, right? It's best to get the pets out of there, right? You don't want some dog growling at you and all that as you're going through. You're gonna kill your cell right there, right? So you tell them, just take them out of there. You can set up some background music. Some people even have a little speaker they take with them, right? Vacate the property while it's being shown. You tell the sellers, yes, you should not be here. Even if they just have to go walk around the neighborhood and then I'll call you when we're done, right? Get them out of there. And you tell them why, right? Buyers cannot have a nice look at the place with you hovering over them, so. And then if you are showing a place, it's gonna go on the buyer's side, but always make sure you leave the place how you found it. If the lights were on and the fan was on, leave the lights on and the fan on, right? If that happens, this listing agent might say, hey, I left the lights and fan on, when you're done, turn them off, right? They'll usually tell you that, but if it's on, if the blinds are open all the way, then leave them open all the way. If they're closed, make sure you close them, right? Leave it how you found it. We'll talk about more about that later. Marketing, review the steps, right, to attract buyers, go in again, let's get in there. Marketing the house, place a for sale sign. Some people don't like for sale signs. They don't want to advertise their house for sale, right?
so how do you?
Sometimes I agree, you know, if it's a house
Online.
that's vacant, then they might not want
Can
to,
be
right?
subject to vandalism.
Some places don't allow for sale sign, right? Like why they? You gotta have a certain type of sign. A lot of the luxury places don't allow for sale signs, right? So, but they find them online. So it's not the end all be all by any means, especially in this day and age. Like
Right.
before the internet,
People
yeah,
aren't
that was
driving
the way you
around
got your
neighborhoods
advertisement
much,
out,
yeah.
right? Now it's, you
Yeah.
can see it online. Yeah.
Okay,
And that's another reason why you leave a stack of cards with them. Because you say, anybody that comes here, you give them one of my cards and tell them you have to talk to the realtor, right? And you get leads off of it too.
because people are coming by
Because they see a sign in the yard,
Yeah.
right?
and they're just knocking on the door.
Yeah. You're not gonna know.
Oh.
Rude.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, a little less in this day and age, but
Mhm.
before, right, in Hawaii, everybody kind
Yeah,
of
in the old
it was
days.
open, right?
Well,
Everybody
if
was
you have a
open. You go
phone
wherever.
number on the sign, and it's your phone number, then they should call the number on the sign
Yeah,
generally,
and
it
they
seems
generally
like.
You would hope so.
But you never know.
In older neighborhoods, people still walk right up.
Okay. And so you make it clear to them that any contact made with the seller, that they must refer it back to you.
Right, because then you're gonna have the people's name and all that. You're gonna let a stranger into your house, not knowing who they are, where they come from, or any of that? No, right?
Mhm.
Give one of my cards, I'm gonna make sure that I know who they are and where they are and when they come
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Global exposure, page 52.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Uh-huh.
Our app, does it list everything on the MLS in the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just the Keller Williams MLS.
Correct.
Okay.
Everything on the MLS, and if you go to the mainland, you can search it, and Canada, I think.
Yeah.
Global advertising, global exposure, right? Advertise through the web. Multiple sites, local, nationally, and global sites. Yes, we will be on global sites like Zillow, Trulia, right, and hundreds of others. I mean, like over 300 sites. Anything to do with home sales, they'll be on it. Going back to the price. So you're probably interested in what your home is worth, right? If it's a seller market, inventory is less than 6 months supply, that's what we're in, right? In regular, luxury is different. So you can remember that script. These are all script that you probably will use, so I'd probably take these out, right? These individual pages. But they're good for you as script you know, to know what, and these are people, sellers are gonna ask you these questions.
Yeah.
On page 55, price to sell, well-priced home creates interest. Once again, we talked about all this, right? But I would read these because these are talking points for you. These will help you to gain confidence. Price is determined by the market, right? Price is determined by the market. Seller's market, the prices are rising, right? Right now we're in the seller's market, but it's kind of leveling off. You'll see lots of price reductions, right? Share that with them. Share with whatever the market is doing right now, right? If they say, well, I saw on the news such and such about real estate, you tell them, well, that news is 2 months old, right? We're in the market today, and this is what's happening today. 56. Comparative properties, right? You want to tell them that we're talking about similar size house, similar size lot, and similar size neighborhood. This is what comparables are, right? You probably already told them that, so once again, this is a good script one here, right? They have a couple scripts down below, or the script down below. The truth is, buyers are very smart and informed about the market, especially today, right? Because they're searching on the internet. Especially those that are looking for out. They've been looking online at properties, right? And any good agent has a buyer client just waiting for something to show up, right? Because there's nothing out there. Okay, moving on to page 57. You'll insert your comparative market analysis here. You're probably just going to print it off the MLS and take it with you. You don't have to insert it into the presentation, right? Remember, this presentation is just to help you, right? It's not the end-all be-all. I mean, this thing is so long, I would
This
never
is
go
crazy.
through all these things.
I know, I see
No,
page
they leave.
33 of 42.
Right, I mean, I would go
it's like
through like
10.
maybe 10 pages, yeah.
And
Pick
10
out the
seems
best
a
thing, because as
little
you can
long.
see, we've repeated a lot of this stuff,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, but I would read through all these, get comfortable with it, because a lot of these questions are the questions that come out of it, right?
Yeah.
And these scripts here are it, right? These are the objection handlers and what you're gonna tell them, things like that. So I would read this. It's not bad stuff. It's just I wouldn't present that to the seller, right? But for you learning, definitely read this and learn it. On price, right? After studying the comparables, taking into account the unique characteristics of your home and its setting, and using the knowledge of averages in your neighborhood, I've prepared recommendations. Here's the comps, right? And then you can see down recommend range of 245 to 255,000, right? I never do the square footage by square footage. I usually just do this is the price range because it's the size of your house, it's the size of your lot. And these comparable ones are the same too.
Even though
Right, Heather?
That's right. Say that again.
I know what he's talking about.
I never do the see the in the example in the middle. It says recommended 245 to 255, 98 to $102 square foot, right?
Over here, yeah.
I don't do the square footage. It makes no sense to people.
Okay.
But the price range of their like kind properties makes sense, right? Just all the other ones are around 10,000 square foot on the land, and all the other ones are about 2,000 square feet on the house, right? So then we came up with that price.
Okay.
Recommending price for your home. And the price per square foot throws people off too because you're not taking into account any of the interior stuff. You're just strictly going on numbers.
And you're
right?
not even checking
So-
their square footage.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
don't bother with that.
Mhm.
My recommendation, so for your home, once again, right, because you have detailed market analysis, and so you have the square, you know, the range of price recommendation, right? Always give them a range, not the amount. And usually your range is going to be within what they wanted, right? That you talked to them way long ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? About what do you know when you just got there, you're walking through. Oh, what do you guys think you want to get for this? You know, what do you think you want to sell your home for? So you already have that in your mind, right? And then your comps are going to feed that idea.
Okay, so then they start wanting you to agree with the number.
Yeah,
And you say.
and hopefully you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't, then you can just keep quiet until you sit down with the comps, right?
Well, I mean, even when you're sitting down with the comps, I guess what I'm getting at is, it's, we talk about what not to say or what we can't do, and I learn better by, like, hearing it done. So somebody's saying, okay, it looks like I kind of fell within your range, but, you know, so you don't think.
Right, so you
think
said, oh, we're
850
thinking
is-
about 850,
Uh-huh.
right? And so I'm going, okay, I think that's right, you know, and so we're going through the house and we sit down.
Mhm.
And so we go, you know, I pull out the comps and I say, you know, you said 850, and I think that's a good price, and this is why, right? I show you these comp, this comp, this comp, this comp, it was all around there, this one's 825, this was 60, and so forth, and we agree. Okay, easy one. But let's say they were saying 950.
Right.
And we're at 825, right? Okay, so let's sit down and talk about the comps. You mentioned 950, and so let me show you the comps. And so this one you go a little bit slower because you're not agreeing, right? So you show the first, you know, you show the comps, and there's a few. This one, and you keep looking at them, like, right? This one's really is real. Like, you'll get one that's like, okay, this one's right on the money, right?
Mhm.
Same house, same size lot, right? And so you kind of slow down and like looking at them like, this is what you can get,
Mhm.
right, for the property. And if they don't catch on to that, by the end of it, you'll say, so the price range would be for this property, 825 to 875. They were at 950, right? We're 75 off here, right? And so why did you want 925 or 950?
If
Right?
they go, because whatever it's worth is what I can get for it, or whatever I get for it is what it's worth.
Right,
What if
and
they
so
just say
so
that?
these are the comps that show you what you can
So
get.
you just go back to the comps.
So I'm curious where you got 950 from, right? You gotta find that answer, and a lot of times it's a Zillow's estimate. So you have to say, well, those things are often inaccurate, and this is why, because they don't get the solds. They're just pulling active data. So the active data is a dream. So of course they're going to be higher than the solds. The sold is actually what is real life. Those are what the property sold for in your neighborhood, right? And then zip it, right? And then you also ask, and so then they'll say some kind of answer or whatever, and then you say, can you sell it for that price? Maybe they can't sell it for that price. Maybe they came up with the 950 because they added all this stuff together and came up with that price, right? Okay, well, we added all our debt up and it came to 950. Okay, well, let's look at that. Right, and they had 3 cars that they wanted to pay off and all this other stuff that wasn't real estate related. You say, okay, well, we dumped that, we dumped that, we dumped that, we dumped that, and now we're just selling the real estate, right? And they go, well, okay, let's go back to why you're selling your property. You mentioned you want to be close to your grandkids, right? Yeah. Well, you're going to need a car when you're close to the grandkids, right? Right. Well, why don't you just take the cars with you? You don't need to pay them off, you just take them with you, right? We focus on the real estate, we can get that real estate sold, and then you can move. And so that's the big goal here. That's the only thing I can help you with. I can't pay off cars, I don't sell cars, right? But we can sell your real estate for you and get that goal achieved.
And if they're just unreasonable and say, because that's what I want for it, then what do you say?
Then you're gonna say, well, we can try it, it's gonna sit on the market, but what I wanna do is get your permission that we'll market this for 2 weeks.
Okay.
At the end of 2 weeks, I'm gonna come back to you and tell you what's going on,
Okay.
right? And we'll rediscuss it, right?
And does that hurt their
Sure
chances
does.
of sale?
Yep.
When it goes up, okay, when
So
they
then
see
you
the
would say
reduction.
that.
So you could explain that to them too, right? First 30 days is when you wanna hit it hard.
Yeah.
After that, it just goes down, because we missed all those showings now, right? Now you're sliding down the slope. You're chasing the market down.
So, I hear all that. One of the things I was trying to get at is, okay, so now you're like trying to bring them down 75, but you're not allowed to say any numbers like, I think we should come in, or like, 750. But you can't say that,
Mhm.
apparently.
You can say the range still.
So
Yeah.
you say a range, or can you like hold out one of the comps and be like, we need to come in closer to this?
Sure,
So you
sure.
haven't
That's
set the
range,
number, but
right?
you're
You
like
can
showing
say,
them a
yeah.
number.
Right,
Which
because you went
means-
through the comps and you're like, this one's pretty close
Well,
to
can
yours,
you just
right?
write it down and go, well, you
No,
know,
you don't.
it's like, I mean, it
No.
seems like
No,
it's
you just
almost
don't
the
come
same
up
thing.
with the number. You still with the range, right?
Okay, you're just
So you
stick
say
with
this
the
one's the range, right?
So in this range.
And then they make the
Where
decision.
do you see yourself? What do you what are you comfortable with?
Yeah,
Okay, and then you just say, okay, at some point.
yeah,
When you're
can
done
you do it for this range,
When
in
you're
this
done.
range, right?
manipulating them.
And
Of course, they'll be
at
at the
some
top of
point-
that range, but
You don't say, I'm not gonna take your listing at that price.
usually not.
Okay.
If it's way out there, then don't waste your time with it,
Yeah.
but usually you can dial them back in if you show them the comps and, you know, tell them this
And
and that.
do we have to show you as our broker the comps before we come up
You
with a
can at the
range, or-
beginning if you want,
Okay.
yeah. You know, you might be having trouble finding comps, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I don't know how to comp this thing, what do I do, right?
Right, and
Yeah.
that's our problem with this one. And also, we're looking at pendings and, active and pending with the
Yeah.
comps.
Yep,
I just say that because you said Zillow's taking into consideration those things, and so are we.
we have solds, because sold is the real data, right? Active is a dream, pending is the activity,
Yeah,
and then solds are the real price, right?
yeah, but when you're lacking comps, you're gonna need a combination.
Yeah.
You still want to get the solds. You want to try and
course.
find the closest solds
Yeah.
you can to that property, because that is what the appraisers are going to come off of, right? So, and then you might have to explain to them why the overprice is not going to work too. If you're going to get financing, right? But buyer's going to get financing, overprice is not going to work because
Yeah.
it's going to bomb out on the appraisal.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get appraisal for the loan, and the bank is not going to lend them the money over that.
So now they've limited themselves to cash buyers.
Right,
Yeah.
which is tough, right? The buyer
Yeah,
pool
that's
goes
good- that's a
smaller
good
with
point.
that, right?
Got it, that's a good one, yeah. The appraisal.
Good questions, you guys. Okay. I'm on page 60. So we're in agreement about the price. And it sounds like all your questions have been addressed. Based on everything we've discussed, it feels like we have the makings of a win-win relationship. Would you agree? Get them to agree. Are we ready to move ahead on this? Is there anything we need before we get started? So on and so forth, right? It's gonna flow a lot differently when
Yeah.
you're doing it, right?
We've already got them signed.
You guys comfortable with everything we talked about? Okay, you guys ready to sign this, listing? Let's do it, right? Okay, going on to the listing listing agreement document.
Yeah, we just.
Go into detail, I gotta make sure this is- What I recommend on the listing agreement is you take a contract class, right? We offer them here, Ram offers them also, how to fill those in. Listings, you, depending on if you're gonna take a bunch or not, it's 5 pages, most of is boilerplate.
Self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory, asking them questions about, if they're this and that. Get familiar with it, but the really one you want to study is the purchase contract. That's the one you want to really be familiar with. But take the listing class, listing agreement class. It's
Yeah.
worth it. Paperwork. So this is where you would put in the paperwork for it, but you're not gonna put it
Yeah,
into
we're
the
not
thing. You're just gonna have it with you, right?
Gotcha.
So usually what I do in the folder is I have the presentation side and then I have the paperwork side, right? Listing contract, the dual agency, the exhibit A, and the seller's disclosure statement. So those will be on this side, all my marketing and all that kind of stuff will be on this side.
Is all that in zip files?
Yes. And actually, when you use the templates, all those will come up. Yeah. makes it
So,
easy.
I remember we went over this, but just to refresh my memory, Exhibit A buyers and buyer's disclosure takes a little while.
Right.
You just leave out with them.
Well, you're gonna leave the seller's disclosure statement. The exhibit A you probably can take back with you because there's some of the questions you're gonna,
Yeah.
as you're going through the house, you're gonna ask questions off of that.
Let's come in.
And some stuff they don't know.
I mean, yeah.
You get the zoning confirmation from the county for it and all that, right? There's quite a bit of things.
There's a lot. It's like 5. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Moving on to page 63, seller's disclosure document, which we just talked about. Like I said, if you use the templates, all the stuff will be loaded, most of the stuff will be loaded into the form for you. Not price, obviously, not the address, but all the rest of the stuff will be in there. And your seller's disclosure will be there also. You leave the seller disclosure with them, because it's going to take them a little while to run through that document, right? That needs to be filled out with them, by them, right? Now you could help them if they need help, but you're not making the disclosure for them. If they need help because they don't know how to write, something like that.
So it takes
Okay.
a long time to fill out one of those disclosure forms.
yeah.
So you're getting it, you're not trying to get it, them to do
No,
it.
you're leaving.
No,
it
you
with
leave
them.
it, yeah.
And so you don't have to get it signed right then
Right,
either.
so you
They're
say,
gonna
hey,
sign it
look,
when
I'm
you're
gonna leave
done.
this seller's disclosure statement with you.
Okay.
I'll be
good.
back in 3 days with the photographer, and I'll pick it up then.
Okay, that's what I would think, but we were told yesterday that you get it signed, and I'm like, then they must be signing it before they fill it out.
Yeah, no, don't,
Okay.
yeah, that comes later.
Okay, got it.
And you really only need the seller's disclosure statement when you have a deal.
Yeah,
I like to get it earlier because I wanna know more about the property,
Yeah.
right? But you really only need it in a deal.
right, but also sometimes a week later,
Remember
you
that.
remember things, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
sure.
got this part, and,
Sure. Yeah, so that's why I like to get it earlier.
Yeah.
And that's where the amended disclosure come in.
That would be if you were in a deal. Yeah, and past that time frame. Moving checklist and end of appointment. So you know what to expect. I provide you with the what to expect next checklist. As a bonus, I've included my moving checklist, right? And so on and so forth. So you have that on the next page. Expect next, right? I'm gonna put a sign in the yard. What date am I gonna do that? Lockbox on the door if you're gonna do that. When's it gonna be posted in the MLS and so on and so forth. This is actually a nice checklist for them. I would leave that page in. The moving checklist is really good on page 67. Little reminder, right, when to do that stuff. If any of them apply. That's a good one to leave in there. I'm on page 69. Take turns practicing the entire listing presentation. Practice the listing presentation that will make you seamless in front of potential clients. But you guys, nobody's done theirs, right? You guys haven't completed your listing
No,
presentation?
we're gonna be completing one this weekend.
Okay.
To do a run through with Nicole.
Okay, so yeah, so work on that and then do that, definitely.
and what do you think about the, listing presentation in CMA, I think, is it RP or PRP?
It's a little bit long,
Uh-huh.
is really the only thing I
What
would
about the
say.
functionality of it? Cause it has that wizard. And
Yeah.
it populates things and
Like I
brings
said, I
information in.
like the MLS, I like the right out of the MLS.
the one in the
Yeah.
MLS.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
The
what I
CMA?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the listing presentation?
No, just the CMA.
Okay, CMA and MLS.
Listing presentation, you use this thing, right?
And so in Paragon, where,
There's a CMA button.
once you go into the next.
Yeah, when you're in that search field,
go-
right? You have all
there's
the
a
buttons
CMA
across.
button.
Hit that, practice
Okay.
with it.
And
I
it's
practice-
there's a wizard that comes up, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and so if you pre-filled that wizard thing in before, then it won't come up. But if you haven't done that first time on the MLS, it's gonna take you through all
Okay.
that
Okay,
stuff,
so
right?
you like theirs better.
I just like the data there. I'm more confident about that data. I'm used to seeing it, so that's why I like it. The PRP is a little bit long. You can edit that too. So, you know. Those two things, but the PRP is coming right from MLS too, so anything that coming right directly out of MLS, is fine.
I was gonna ask that
And
too.
when
So
you
it's
start
not-
going to third-party sites, it's where I
Okay.
get a little bit nervous, right, on the data that comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Okay, so we're gonna skip that since you guys don't have that, but definitely practice that, because as you can see, it takes practice, right? And these objections will be pretty much the same on all these sellers, right? It's gonna be price and how much stuff do I gotta do to sell this thing and so on and so forth, right? Okay. So let's say we did that.
Okay.
Note about objections, page 70. Even with perfectly prepared and scripted listing presentation and all the confidence in the world, you're bound to come upon what are known as objections. Why? We're just not sure yet What's your commission seems high. We'd like to sleep on it. We're interviewing other agents before we make a decision. How long have you been in the business? For you new guys, that's a good one. How long have you been in the business? What's your answer?
Not long, but we have a great broker behind us walking us through.
And we've lived
And
here
we've
for
lived here
over
for
35
over 30 years, own a home in the area.
Been in-
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Have something.
Yeah,
If you go, well,
Yeah.
then they shouldn't give you the listing, right?
And then we're
But that was
interviewing other
perfect.
agents, we say, great, can I call you back on Friday?
Exactly. Try to be the last one, right?
Yeah.
Try to be the last one.
We'd like to
Sleep on it.
on
What would you do with that?
I think you have to say.
You know, let's talk about what your questions are before you sleep on it. Let's
Exactly,
get further
exactly.
into what you need to know before you make a decision.
Exactly, because you could answer all those and then they would sign it,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, the
And we
sleeping on
already-
it is they have other
Yeah.
questions that they
Yeah.
can't answer.
Yeah, so where are you feeling resistance?
Yeah, they can't answer without you, right? That's the whole,
Right.
I need to think about it.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what are some of the things you're gonna think about?
Yeah.
Because they can't answer those, you can answer that for
Mhm.
them, right? So they gotta be in front of you,
so
good.
dig and keep them talking about it.
Yeah,
And
sure.
you continue to build a relationship and trust in doing that.
Yeah,
alone.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
And they, in the back of their mind, they're still job interviewing you, is why they would say that, right?
Mhm.
Just not quite sure, but after you go through those objections, then they're like, okay, this is the right person,
And
right?
so if you say, so where are you feeling resistance, or, what else can I answer?
Yeah, you must have other questions
your
then.
thinking
Let's talk
process.
about it.
And they say, well, I have 3 other friends that are real estate agents.
Mhm. It happens here.
Yeah, then you're,
And then you say,
Yeah.
okay, so you're gonna interview other agents.
Right, when are you gonna do that,
Let's
right?
talk.
Would it be okay if
Call
I
you back
called you
on
on
Friday.
that's a
Friday
good
Yeah.
follow-up.
to
Okay.
recap, right? And ask you how it went?
Is there any other service contribution, any other thing that you could bring of value for the follow-up that would make it worth it for them to wait for your follow-up? Like, is there anything? If
Yeah,
I call you
I
on
mean,
Friday and.
like I like to say, that if you don't mind, I'd like to call you on Friday and just, so we can recap everything and see what you thought about
Yeah.
everyone else and just.
And tell you if I've got any other thoughts on what we discussed.
Right.
I'm just
and you
trying to
probably
think of
have one.
something of value that I could bring to that other than just follow-up.
Well, the value is the follow-up, right?
Okay.
Because the other agent's just gonna walk out,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And be done with it and hopefully they call them. But you've already made now the appointment to call them.
Mhm.
Right? So that is the follow-up. That is your job interview exit, right?
Mhm.
Where you're saying, hey, I'm gonna follow up with you.
Okay.
And you prove them right, right? That you've done it.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is the value. There's no like, I'll offer you 0.5% less when, when I call you or any of that, yeah. But the value is the follow-up because now you're becoming
You're
one of
showing
their
them what
friends by
you're
saying, hey,
working
let's
for
talk about
already.
all the interviews that you went through and how you felt about all those and whatever, right?
And you wouldn't go 5% or nothing,
No.
it sounds like.